And gotta hit this button.
This
Hello.
this is
Oh.
never gonna stop thrilling me. It will never stop thrilling me.
Not at all. Hello, Shannon.
Jason, hello to you. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. We're
Good.
here. We're doing it. This is it.
It's amazing. It's incredible. In our last episode, we did something really fun, and I have been waiting to see. Are you going to try to big up me?
I don't know if it's going to. I've not played with it. I think it will be fun. I love diving into these types of things. So I'll go ahead and get this screen share going here, and we'll see what it's all about. So let me find my window. Here we go. Okay. So I found this one. I know you like to use there's an AI for that. I also believe that Google Labs has all this really cool stuff. We've done some, previous shows. I think I want to say even Notebook LM was a lab experiment at one point, and they pushed that live prior to our previous show. If anybody's not seen that show, that's available on YouTube at New Tech Demos. And then we did a follow up, I think, as well on the audio component. You can talk to it. You were able to talk to that, which is really cool. But if you go to labs.google/experiments, there's a ton of really cool resources. And one that I found today actually is called Little Language Lessons.
What?
Yeah, so it's a collection of these bite-sized learning experiments that's using Gemini. All you need is a Google account. You'll sign in, obviously, here. It will give you a disclaimer that obviously because it's generative AI, some of the outputs could be, explicit, misleading, right? Obviously, your boilerplate warning. But within here, we've got experiment number 1, which is a tiny lesson, so we could find relevant vocabulary, phrases, and grammar tips for any situation. Slang Hang, which I thought was really cool. I think we should be checking this out, obviously. Let me run back here. And then WordCamp. And this one, you're able to snap a photo to learn how to speak about your surroundings in the
What?
Pretty cool. Yeah, so pretty timely. I was actually just talking yesterday about there's a book that I purchased years ago called English as a Second Effing, and I'm not going to say it on the stream, language. And the whole point behind the book is that if English is your second language, adapting to the slang that we have is extremely difficult because
Whoa.
we know it just because we're native, but there could be 4 to 6 different meanings of one slang word or one expletive, right? We use it so many different ways.
Right.
So Slang Hang here actually caught my attention. I think maybe we could try that out.
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited about this. And as people that live in Pittsburgh, I'm thinking even more about if you were English.
Yinzery with it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. If you're ESL and you move to Pittsburgh, you're probably like, what has happened here?
Yep. So experiment number 2, Slang Hang. We can learn expressions, idioms, and regional slang from a generated conversation between native speakers. So now we get a chance to choose what language we like.
Ooh.
So we've got everything from Chinese, English, French, German, Portuguese, Russian, and Spanish. What do you think we should pick today?
Let's go with Spanish because I feel like that's one we might be able to say, like, that sounds fun.
Okay, we going with Latin American Spanish or Spain proper?
Let's go with Spain. I'm in the mood for Spain right now.
Definitely. All right. So we're going to go ahead and generate, and then Gemini is going to be doing its thing in the background. But Shannon, have you been to Spain at all?
I haven't been to Spain. I went to Spain before we had Halligan. Luke and I went to Spain. We went to Mallorca, Valencia, and Ibiza, which was just as fun as you think.
It sounds amazing. It's on my list. I've been over to Portugal and then did a boat ride out of the ports, and I was able to see the coast of Spain, and I thought they looked beautiful. And I said, it's always been wanting to go back there. So, okay, so we got our slang hang here. We've got 2 friends, Alina and Sophia, are sitting at a small table outside a cafe in Madrid. They're waiting for a street performer to begin their act. Elena is skeptical while Sophia is excited. So Sophia then we can actually hover over here, which is pretty neat. And it's going to give us the expression, which translates what desire I have to see this is a common way of expressing excitement and anticipation for something. A more natural translation would be, I can't wait to see this, or I'm really looking forward to this. And then we also have an audio. Let's see if we can pick up the audio here. So were you able to hear that on your end?
I couldn't hear it.
Okay. I wonder what this little language button. Okay, then we have the translation. So we've got the slang and the Spanish version, and then we have the translation. I can't wait to see this. They say this guy's a genius.
Oh my gosh, how cool is this?
Yeah, and then we can cycle through over here with the refresh button. So if we click this, looks like it's going to give us another phrase. At some point here. Alina, a marine biologist, is at a small seaside cafe in Santander, Spain. She's meeting with Javier, a local fisherman, to discuss strange bioluminescent phenomenon he's observed in his nets recently. They've never met before and are a bit wary of each other. Supongo que is a polite way of making an assumption, literally, I suppose that, but it conveys a sense of I presume or I take it that. So
whoa.
So our translation here would be, good morning, Javier. I assume you're the fisherman who contacted my lab. Supongo que.
Wow. This is really cool. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And we can X out of here. That was slang hang. We can go back home, and then there's a tiny lesson. Since we're not obviously on a device, we can skip the photo. If we were on our mobile phone, I think that would be cool. So the first experiment's tiny lesson. You can find relevant vocabulary, phrases, and grammar tips for any situation. This is pretty cool. So we can select the language, and then you can do the purpose or theme, which would be attending a concert, finding a lost passport, going on a first date. So let's just say you find yourself in Hong Kong and we want to go try scuba diving. We'll generate that. And Cantonese for go scuba diving. Going to give us the phrases and then any tips. This is pretty comprehensive. I really like this.
This is incredible. And just think about how helpful this would be in a point situation. Like, you're going to be in Hong Kong for 3 weeks for work, and you probably don't have enough time to try to learn. So you're not going to jump on Duolingo and, be proficient in Cantonese, but, you've got a very specific point situation. This would come in huge handy.
Yes. And that's funny you bring that up, because that's exactly what I've done before in the past when traveling overseas or traveling abroad. Fire up Duolingo and just start trying to take a little more formal lessons. They're still fun and gamified, obviously, but this is pretty specific, and you can narrow it down to some of the actual things that you're doing, as opposed to just starting to learn those building blocks and foundations of speaking.
This is incredible. I really, really love this. And
pair this with like a Google Translate, and you're kind of off to the races, right?
And really, one of the things that I found, you remember I had an office east of Frankfurt, and I tried to learn as many words as I could each time I was headed there. So it felt like I was making an effort. And I think Americans are particularly terrible at this. And, Google is enabling us to be a little bit more thoughtful and intentional by narrowing it down. So having this tiny lesson or the slang hang, or I could see where the word cam would immediately come into action when, you don't have a ton of time to prepare to pick up a whole entire second language, but you still want to make an effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty cool labs experiment I thought we'd share today. I love that they do these, and then obviously some of them take on to get, trickle down into their tech stack and their, offerings and products as well. I could even see this being integrated into a number of different products in the Google suite. But so I thought that was pretty fun. pretty interesting. Anybody can go to labs.google and then they can find it there or use the URL up here. Yeah, so little language lessons.
I love this so much, and I can't wait to dig in and play with Tiny Lesson, but particularly slang. Hey,
Yeah, I kind of like that. It'd be pretty cool to see. So.
and that is so cool. Well, Jason, thank you for unboxing this for me. Every Tuesday we get together and we unbox a new piece of technology the same way, we watch our kids watch other people's kids open up new toys.
Billion views when somebody's just opening a toy. Crazy.
It's incredible. This is amazing.
Primitive form of FOMO.
That's exactly right. This is slightly different though. This is slightly different because we're like, hey, these are actually useful. Let us dig around and put our email and password into all the things for you.
Emails are getting a little out of control. That's fine. I'm used to that. So also if anybody has any suggestions, or they may happen to have their own tech that they'd like to showcase, we do bring guests on. We've got a couple more in the pipeline as well too, which will be fun, but also open to sharing that as well.
Love that. Perfect. Well, Jason, I hope that you have a wonderful, beautiful Tuesday, and we'll see everybody back next Tuesday with something that will be interesting. So can't wait to see you there.
All right, Shannon. Thanks again. See
Thanks,
you soon. I'm going small.